and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, then hi, my name is Lauren, and on my channel we mostly talk about anything luxury, but we also discuss lifestyle and beauty. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please consider subscribing to my channel, and we'll get started with the video. So in today's video, I'm presenting you another episode of my real versus fake series, this time featuring the VCA Vintage Alhambra Pendant. So if you're interested in learning how to spot the differences, then please keep on watching. So as usual, let's start with the packaging, and can you tell which one is the real one and which one is the fake one? So over here in this one hand, I have the real one, and in this other hand, I have the fake one. And right off the bat, the difference is actually huge when it comes to boxes. And I say boxes plural because the real one actually comes in two different boxes. It comes first wrapped in this outside box, and then it has another box, which is this one, inside which the pendant is. But none of them actually look like this. So this one, I think the fake one, is, I would say, way off. I mean, the differences are so obvious. First, in terms of shape, in terms of size, this is like a square. Here, it's not a square, it's like rounded on the edges. The texture is like way off. So here, this is kind of like a stupid, plastic paper type of box, nothing very special. Here, it's very nice. The texture is kind of like suede-like. It's very luxurious, very beautiful. And I feel like, unfortunately, the fake factory really didn't do such a good job on the packaging. It's very disappointing, but I mean, at the same time, for the price that you're paying, that type of attention to detail does make sense that it's not there. But still, I had to mention it because this, in my mind, is a huge difference. Alright, and now let's move on to the pendant themselves. And obviously I will include close-ups because I am aware that like this, far away from the camera, it's not very clear, but I still wanted to, go bullet point by bullet point and kind of talk to you about the various differences that I see in these necklaces. And really the first thing is the chain length. So if we put them together like this, you can see that I'm holding them, and one is much longer than the other one. We're about like 2 centimeters or something like that longer. And can you tell, by the way, which one is the real one and which one is the fake one? So the real one, which is in this hand, was a lot shorter than the fake one, which is in this hand. So the fake one is about 2 centimeters longer than the real one. The next big thing, the next big difference when it comes to these pendants is the thickness of the pendant itself, of the little flower. There is a huge difference. So in the fake one, which again is in this hand, the thickness is like real thick, which is not at all the case on the real one, which is in this hand. The real one is kind of very like thin, very delicate, very girly and feminine. And it is unfortunately not the case in the fake one. The major difference also can be seen when we look at the onyx. So both obviously are onyx, which is black, but the real one is a lot less shiny than the fake one. And this is something that like sometimes happens when it comes to fakes. They kind of tend to over exaggerate or to overcompensate and make everything like super duper shiny. I feel like usually when looking at fake jewelry, this is a really easy way to tell. If it's like super duper shiny, then it's like, this is kind of, suspicious. There's definitely something going on. So yeah, when we look at the alhambra motif, then the difference is the thickness and then also the shininess of the onyx. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the shade of gold, and that one honestly is most noticeable in the chain part of the necklace, and it is that the fake one, which again is here, is a lot shinier than the real one, which is in this hand. So the real one is 18K gold, and the fake one obviously is not gold, but it really resembles this like super shiny 24K gold. Like if you remember, you know, the Chanel bags that were the 24K gold, it really looks like this. It's exactly that, or like the super, you know, shiny like jewelry. It's definitely this, and I feel like again they're trying to overcompensate really, and it's something that happens often with this type of fakes. I feel like I've done a video in the past, which is also a real versus fake, of the 5 motif vintage alhambra bracelet, and it didn't come from the same factory, but the exact same thing happened. By the way, if you are interested in seeing this video, then I will go ahead and leave it in the little information link over here for you to see it, in case you want to also kind of compare the bracelets. But it is something that really is across the board. It is the difference in the gold plating or in the color of the gold. It is very, very different. This is solid 18K gold, and this, well, while it resembles 24K gold, is nowhere near gold, unfortunately. Our next difference has a lot to do with what I just mentioned earlier, and that is the weight of these pendants are remarkably different. So as you're probably able to guess, the weight of the real one, which is this one, is a lot heavier than the fake one, which is in this hand. And that's because, well, this is 18K gold and this is, I don't know what it is, but it is certainly nowhere near gold. So there is obviously a big difference in the weight, even though, I mean, both are relatively speaking kind of, you know, light, because it is a very thin chain. It is a very kind of elegant and delicate pendant, but still there is a big difference in the weight of these items. So the next thing to mention is the size and the shape of the links is remarkably different. So on the real one over here, the links are almost like they're so small that they're almost unnoticeable, if that makes sense. They're so like close to one another. There is no gap in between the links. It's almost like as if it was like a full circle and not a link. And over here in the fake one, the links are much wider. There's a lot more space in between them, and that makes it more noticeable and I would say a little bit less elegant. It's not the biggest deal, but it's definitely something to kind of, you know, mention, because when you compare both, I feel like it is something that you definitely see. And lastly, the last difference to mention is the serial number, and for both they are located near the closure system, so at the exact same place. However, there is a big difference. First, they contain a unique serial number, which on the real one is very easy to read. It's very kind of, you know, easy to see the exact numbers, and on the fake one, which is in this hand, it is so hard to read. It's almost like unreadable. You kind of have to put like your extra grandma glasses to read it, and still I'm having difficulties really telling which number is which. And for both, they have the mention VCA AU 750, and for the real one, it's AU. The U has a small letter, lowercase, but when it comes to the fake one, it's AU, everything is capital letters. So that's obviously not the same, and I feel like it was the same, if I'm not mistaken, on the bracelet that when I did the fake versus real comparison with the 5 motif vintage alhambra bracelet, it was exactly the same thing, like the same thing happened. So it seems to be something that's kind of common across, you know, fakes. So if you are looking at differences between real and fakes when it comes to VCA, this is like the first place that I would check, because I've already had it happen twice and I'm pretty sure that it is something that's a recurring factor. So in conclusion, I would say that while the differences, well, they are definitely there, it is something that would be pretty hard to see when worn. I feel like you're definitely not standing like 10 centimeters away from the neck of a person. So for that reason, it would make it very hard to see if it's a fake or a real one when it's worn. So I would actually, recommend getting this fake in the sense that if you are looking at fakes, this is pretty much a good one. I think that it'd be hard to tell, especially if you don't have the real one as an object of comparison. And even like this, I felt like I was looking at both of them for quite a while before I could come up with all of the differences that I've mentioned before. So for that reason, I feel like the quality of it is actually pretty good. So if you are interested in getting this particular fake from the Fake Factory or anything else that they may produce, I'll go ahead and leave the link in the description box down below along with the coupon code for you. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video was beneficial and informational for you in case you were looking at acquiring a pre-loved VCA bracelet. I feel like I'm always very concerned with the pre-loved market because it is so easy to pay full price for a fake. I would be so concerned about like making a purchase and then it being, turning out to be a fake. And I still feel like even though you buy on either like eBay or I don't know, like resellers websites like Fashion File or The Real or anything, I feel like there's still fakes on there. And that makes me like super scared. So I usually don't buy, or actually, let me correct myself, I've never bought anything pre-loved. And that's because I am just so scared. But in case you want to go ahead, then I hope that this video was helpful and that you know a little bit more about what to look for. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.